Hello, how's it going, people? Can you see me? Can you hear me? That will be the question of the evening. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Um, because we're gonna have some fun tonight. Sorry, the stream was delayed a little bit, but oh hey Jay H Aquatics, what's up? Bob, what's up? Mr. D's Tank some more. Select Pet. I'm just catching up on. You know what? I will give you a prize for number 2. You know that? JH, you deserve something. You get to live in a territory that's not quite the United. No, I gotta send you some stuff one of these days. Anyways, fake name. What's up? Just picked up 110 aqua clear. Hang off the back. Awesome. Keith Boardley. Hello. Skywalker. What up? Got my Dr. Pepper here. All right, so this is kind of an interesting live stream setup. Hold on one sec. I gotta position. Richard Rowe, how's it going, buddy? I gotta set up my tripod. I don't think I'm gonna mic it up, but the tripod, pardon this, and everything should be set up. Well, by the way, shaved most of my head, this side as well, and I don't know, just got a bug in my ear and decided why not. Halloween's over, so I should probably get rid of the nail polish, but just thought I'd catch you guys up on that stuff. That has nothing to do with fish. Let me stabilize everything here on the tripod. It's still like not balanced. Okay, there we go. That's a good look right there. No, so how's everybody doing tonight? But she won't like that. No, she won't like that. Bob knows my wife better than I do. Let's see here. Fixing stuff. Alright, so we're going to flip this around. And so, this live stream, by the way, if you guys think you know a scarier fish, feel free to type it on there. And that's fine. But I have a list and a slideshow for you guys. Everyone likes slideshows. It looks like I've got like dirt on my face, but really it's just swollen where I have like an ingrown hair. But I have top 10 scary fish that are freshwater fish that are found in freshwater. So when I came up with this list, I was like, should I include the fish that kill the most people? Because if I did that, I'd have a very, very different list than the one I have right now. Because really, I mean, trout kill the most people. In the sense that people are fiddling around with their rod and reel and fall in the water. Or, you know, bass or something. So select pet, we'll get to that. So then there's the ones that are scary because of myths. And thank you, Eleanor. I appreciate that. Down the wormhole. Hello. Yep, fake name. We're getting to that. So Christy, hello. Hello, everyone's streaming in. It's great to see you. I'm glad. I hope everyone had a good Halloween if you were celebrating that. If you're pagan and you take that really seriously, I'm sorry that we commercialized your. I'm just kidding. I'm not even going there. War on Halloween. So we will talk about the PP fish, the Candiru, however you want to say it. We will talk about some of that stuff. It will be on the list. In fact, check this out. I have a list. Well, it's probably backwards to you guys, but appearing in that order. I hope you saw none of that. We're going to go down the list, and I'm going to show you guys what I think are the scariest, and I'm averaging this out. So, like, these are fish that I thought would be interesting to talk about. They're a diverse span, and some of them have some really unique properties. And some of them are well known, but maybe you don't know a ton about them. So I'm going to go through and talk about them almost as if this were a video you're not interacting with. And then afterwards, we can do questions about like, hey, my filter doesn't work, whatever. And that way people can get off of that. But in the comments, in the meantime, if you know something about it, if you want to chime in and say a fact or something, if it's a fact and you know it, because there's a lot of myths about these fish, and I've been sorting through a lot of stuff for like 2 weeks planning this podcast or live stream, whatever. And there's a lot to dig through about confirmed attacks versus non-confirmed and stuff like that. So let's get to the slideshow. Like I was saying, we're going to start this list off with a bang. And yes, I know this is ghetto, guys. I'm sorry. But we're doing the slideshow this way on the computer so that I can manage it, and because I am technologically illiterate in many, many ways. All right, hold on. Let me get this just right. Stop it. The YouTube cameras are like the most fidgety, touchy, annoying pieces of junk ever. Like the zooms on these on this. It's like, no, just kidding. That okay, we're gonna leave it there. All right. So yes, these are fish. Some of them are in the fish trade, and all these fish, yes, have been in the fish trade like illegally at certain times. My dad, actually, I talked to. My dad used to keep fish in the '60s and the '70s, and he had piranhas, he had arowanas, he had a bunch of stuff, and he killed it all, and it was actually pretty cheap. But back then, they really didn't care what you brought in. And so some people, especially with these fish that live a long time, some people brought in some gnarly stuff that's still floating around. Plus, obviously, people are going to smuggle in things. If you've read the book, what is it called? Somebody help me here. If you've read the book about arowanas, the Dragon Behind the Glass, I believe it's called, you'll know that people bring like tigers and bears and snakes and whatever else. They found a polar bear in New York City in someone's apartment. So, yeah, especially like drug dealers and like stockbrokers, they said are like the two that always have like the crazy tiger in their like penthouse. So let's start this list. I'm gonna start it with the one that scares me the most, and that is the electric eel. Now, these are freshwater found in South America in the Amazon. They can produce up to 800 volts. Watts. And they do it in a rapid fire motion. It's like every few hundredths of a second, they fire a load of it, and then they actually store it in mussels that fire in sequence. And it's really cool. They actually have like sensors all over their body, and on there you see that their eyes are pretty teeny. They live in really murky water, but they've got some good sensory organs, and they can sense electromagnetic fields very, very well. Which, I don't know, does that surprise you guys that a fish that uses electricity to shock things knows how to like understand electricity well? To me, that's not surprising, really. But really, come on, camera. I am so sorry, you guys. Someday I will get enough money saved up and a technician to help me set up like that program that lets you do all this on the computer. So, all right. This is an interesting little thing. So this is a caiman, and this is an electric eel. This is also why I kind of wanted to do it this way so I could point at stuff. And the caiman in the wild came across an electric eel. They can reach up to 7 or 8 feet long, and it bit it, and that didn't go well for the caiman. The caiman rolled over dead. And it's a still frame from like a bad grainy video. But the electric eel also got chomped on, and then managed to wriggle out. I don't know if it lived later, but electric eels use that electricity one that way to like, someone thing's attacking me. It's like its tail or whatever, and it can shock the heck out of it, which causes muscles to contract on the victim and causes you to go stiff as a board like a taser. Now, this has killed humans, and there are a lot. Maple Street, what's up? There are a lot of cases of people just getting really shocked and hurt, falling overboard. You're working on something, put your hand in the water, bam, you get knocked off, knocked over, that kind of thing. But there are also in the dry season in Brazil and Venezuela, these fish like collect into giant gatherings of these wriggly balls of snaky, fishy stuff. They're not actually an eel; they're actually a knife fish. Go figure. And let's see. So let's get back to the So you can kind of see the knife fish look there with the way they have the locomotion is not like back and forth swimming. It's with the little rudder fin. I don't know. Is that an anal fin? I didn't research it that much, but I'm gonna put that in. And this list isn't necessarily gonna be in order. And by the way, I'm not putting piranhas on the list because everyone thinks piranhas are scary, or they think psh, whatever piranhas, and they're a little bit of both. I mean, they can do some damage if you're already hurt. There's reports of them eating little kids or nibbling on adults, and yeah, I mean they're gnarly, angry fish, but I'm not putting them on the list because everyone thinks, oh, piranhas, or they want to be that person to poo-poo piranhas. So I'm just skipping piranhas. But the one, like in aquariums, I'm not gonna say that I have or have not had a red-bellied piranha, but they're pretty lame unless there's like 100 of them and they're starving, in my opinion. Um, Oh, down the wormhole has a piranha. So, does that look scary? That is what inspired, among other things, some of the sci-fi movies. Now, this is a similar jaw that a lamprey has, which is a pretty harmless fish. But this is the Candiru. Now, I'm going to put this on the list, not necessarily because of the damage it has done historically, but because it scares people, including people I know who have researched fish, are educated well. The only problem is that scary thing is that size. So that's not that scary, right? It's got crazy scary jaws, but they're teeny. So like, what's the problem, right? Well, the problem is that they swim up inside of you through various means, including when you urinate. And both male and female, by the way. People traditionally worried about men, but apparently in the medical literature, there are 2 confirmed cases in women down there, and only 1 confirmed modern day case of a man with this fish, which usually chews on the gills. It carves a circular hole. It has an anticoagulant, and it has a anesthetic, both those things. An anti-infection, antibacterial, antiseptic, and then an anesthetic that numbs the area, kind of like a mosquito. So that's been studied medically for like how that can benefit us in society by studying, things like blood, how to get blood to clot or unclot, things like that. A lot of what we learn comes from venoms and things like that. So, Candiru, they will latch on to even your skin. So it's not like the jaws don't have power. But yes, there is a confirmed case of a man who claims he was urinating with his unit not underwater, and that a fish jumped up about 5 inches, latched onto the end of his fella, and wriggled its way to the hole, and then in an instant, as he tried to grab for it, crawled in. He did get treated, as fake name has said. There is actual video and photograph of the incident. It was in 1997 in Venezuela. And there is also a female that was treated, and there's pictures. Um, and it was a 2 hour surgery where they actually had to end up cutting open the entire length of where the fish had buried itself. Now, this fish usually attacks the gills of other fish. And so it's also been, people have had it attack their ear, their lips, things like that. That's been confirmed also, just in pictures. But the one that everyone's afraid of is peeing in the water. The old myth was that it was attracted to urine. It's not. It's just attracted to any agitation in the water, as are many fish, especially in murky waters where you can't see very well. They have that in Peru. Yes, they do. There are actually 6 species of these Candirus, and they're just kind of interesting. You know, a lot of these fish on this list are going to occur in South America for one reason or another. But let's go on. So here's a Candiru, 2 different types, just old illustrations, but supposedly that's what they look like. Now, on to the next one. And this one might surprise you. So let me just tell you, too. I could have gone with the Mekong Delta giant stingray. I could have gone with all the stuff that's been on river monsters, essentially. The Goonch catfish, the Wells catfish, all those kind of fish. But I decided, you know what? I could do a whole episode on just like monster fish. And they all felt like the same attack. Like a giant catfish of all these species is not. I don't know. It just felt like it had its own category. Like that's its own category. The stingray is an anomaly. The giant stingray, which is beautiful if you see the Mekong Delta giant stingray. But yes, so this is an interesting one in that it has killed people on their boats. And there's probably about a dozen cases not confirmed but suspected where they find a boat that ran aground and there's no one in the boat and they find a body drowned. But this is the flying carp, aka the silver carp or Siberian silver carp, even though that one's golden green. And they are also known as, well, that's not a very good picture, as flying carp. So this is the Illinois River. The Ohio River has the problem, and when a loud noise goes through the water, they jumped all over the place. I know you don't like dead fish. I battled with this. The anglers, a lot of them, I tried on purpose. Those fish were put back. I tried to find pictures of fish that were put back. But I am warning you, there's one picture with a little bit of blood, and there's one picture with, or maybe like 2 pictures with some dead fish, like being held up for size. I don't know that they were fished or killed or found or what. But this is the flying carp. It can weigh up to 110 pounds. That's insane to me. It was brought to America in 1972 in order to control algae in sewage systems and in stagnant water places where they'd built canals in the Midwest. That was a dumb idea. They escaped from the channels and things that they thought they would be in. Go figure, the Mississippi River floods, and so does the Missouri and all the other ones, because they're rivers. And now they're all over the place, and they're a serious problem. They also get up to 55 inches long, or 4 feet, 4.5 feet. You know, like a meter and a half long, or a meter long, and I guess they weigh probably, what is that, 50 kilos or something like that. So yeah, it's pretty gnarly. And you could see there's a big one. If you were boating and that came through and clocked you in the face and you're going 40 miles an hour, so maybe that fish isn't scary in itself, but it has the potential, one, to take over ecosystems, and two, to just clock you. And they actually have this derby in Illinois and in Missouri. There's actually a few, like there's a bunch of them, but where people go and they race their boats around and they try to catch as many of these things as they can in nets. And these fish can jump up to 12 feet in the air. What the heck? Like, can you imagine a 110-pound fish jumping at 20 miles an hour and then your boat's going 40 miles an hour? So you get hit in the face 140 miles, or I mean, sorry, 40 miles an hour on a boat where you're supposed to keep balance. If you're on like a river boat or a drift boat or something, you're in trouble. So actually, multiple people have had their skulls fractured, necks broken, and a teenager had his teeth all knocked out, his jaw dislocated, and his skull fractured all at the same time. And yeah, people bowfish with bow and arrow for them. Both there's rules where they fish, underwater and above water, and then there's also derbies and stuff where they fish with bow and arrow and a line uh, at them in the air. So, kind of a bizarre situation. But to me, it's kind of scary. So, this is the next fish, number 4. And this is the African Goliath tiger fish. Now, this fish is really beautiful. This is kept in. Hey, Gary. This is kept in captivity. I've seen these fish kept at people's houses, and they just look really gnarly. There have been a few confirmed cases of young kids being harmed by these things. They're not really a super dangerous fish, but they do occur in very rapid waters, and so a lot of people get hurt and fall, and then they end up getting shredded after they've like broken a leg or something. But they will take off and have many times. Fishermen are bringing in a net or a line, and something will jump up out of the water to try to eat the fish off the line, and it will have eaten their fingers off. Now, this is the third biggest one ever caught and weighed by Westerners. You know, the locals have probably caught monsters bigger than that. But look at that fish. That is a gnarly fish. So they're found in the Congo River, and they're found in the Congo River. They're found around Africa. Their teeth are very unique. They evolved pretty different than a lot of other teeth. They have kind of alligator teeth, which are meant for holding on and then shaking their head and ripping chunks of flesh. So, pretty gnarly attacks. You're going to know most fish with teeth like that are spaced out, they use them. Well, that's not a very good picture on. I'm sorry, that slide. It's just the color on the YouTube camera. Okay, well, shoot. Let's see if this we can get. Okay, maybe we can get it better here. So, yeah, this is a baby one. This one's like 6 inches long or something, and it's in a collection at the Smithsonian on their page. But it has this jaw that is a jaw here, and then it can unhinge back in here, so it can eat anything as big as its head, basically. Like, this is all mouth if it needs to be. But what it does is it will rip at at whatever, like clamp down, shake its head, and rip. The flesh will come away. These will pierce at the spine. It's good at trying to find the head or spine and immobilizing fish quickly, or frogs, or small mammals, small deer, anything coming down to drink for water. And it's got teeth just like a crocodile, basically, in that they're spaced like that. That is a very unique spacing of teeth for fish. You don't see it so often. Even in sharks, their teeth are tightly packed in rows, and they're serrated and whatnot. But that is a puncture wound tooth, which makes it scary to me. And so, again, this was just a long one, but the picture's not really showing up very well. As we move on, number 5. So this one is kind of like a category that includes several fish, and it's the alligator garr slash muskies. So it's kind of American pike and garr. So if you haven't seen these things, I've seen them in the wild, and I've seen them in exhibits at zoos and aquariums and so forth, and in people's collections. You're gonna need a big friggin' tank for some of these. By the way, there is a company in Florida called, oh, what's it called? Something Monsters. Uh, I can't remember the name. Maybe somebody else will remember and help me out here. But it's like magical monsters, or like aquatic monsters, or, I don't know, mystic monsters. But they have platinum versions of these that are beautiful. They're like silver, and they're just awesome. The garr not make a great pet. Yeah, so garr, exactly. Garr are good for eating. I mean, they taste good. Um, let's see. You had a Pangasuus from a decade or so. A poor fish killed itself against the glass. A 2 meter long tank wasn't enough. Please do not buy these little sharks. Uh, Andre, thank you for that. That's true. Don't buy these. Uh, People buy these and they don't realize they get 9 feet long. There's some reports of them, certain variants, even reaching 12 feet long. Don't buy this fish. I don't know why everyone sells this, or not everyone, but I see this fish. There's 2 shops in Seattle that are selling this fish right now. And what's going to happen when the 18-year-old or 19-year-old kid who buys it and puts it with his Oscar? Uh, he's going to, it's going to get too big. It's going to either hurt himself or kill his Oscar or whatever, and it's not going to do anything cool in his tank. And then he's going to go throw it in the lake by this pet shop or whatever. So, yeah, how do you say that? I know that fish by name, Andre, but Pangasus, um, is an Asian. Yeah, it's another long fish. Also, I didn't include some fish like Arapaima, or Piama, or, I mean, there's a whole list of, there's all these South American fish that are ginormous, um, that are really cool, and they actually, some of them are they will attack like a catfish. But for the most part, I kept them out of this list because I'm going with kind of more scary looking, may cause nightmares, could be in the pet hobby. But here you go. These are babies. This is what they look like when you see them in the pet store, which is dumb. And they are very pretty. Here's 3 different types. And there's 3 main ones in the United States. Good thing you can't see this picture very clear. Andre, look away. I'm going to bring this closer for everyone else. Try to get it in focus somehow. That is a 11-foot garr. So, pretty gnarly. Here's another one, much smaller, probably 6 feet or something like that. 7 feet maybe. Here we got another, probably 7-8 footer maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell. His nose ends up off the screen actually. But look at the girth on that. Like he could. It's a beautiful fish, clearly with the fins and everything. You see why people would want it in their aquarium looks wise, but muskies and pikes and garrs just don't keep them as pets, guys, please. Unless you know, yeah, River Monsters has covered a lot of fish, but I'm trying to cover some of the fish that like they haven't covered as much, but there's I think half the list they've been on. So there's River Monsters, and then there's also another one I can't remember. So this is a muskie. I've gone fishing for these before, catch and release. They're pretty gnarly, and you can see those teeth again. They're ripping teeth, shaking their head and ripping teeth, similar head shape to other fish. Definitely will take a toe or finger off, no problem. And then here we go, different species of muskie, or muskalingi, or muskies. There's actually like muskalingi, muskalungi, and musklungi, because the French came here. And this is just a little thing that doesn't matter, but it basically, tiger muskies come from a mix of a normal muskie and a northern pike. That's real quick an injury from one. I didn't want to show that too long, but those tiger muskies are really beautiful, and this is a guy who caught one. This is a charter fishing place out of North Dakota, I think, or South Dakota, and they do catch and release. So that made me feel a little bit better. On the border with Minnesota, maybe. Love that show, but it's just me, or is he starving to catch only one type of fish these days? Yeah, I mean, those river shows, river monsters and stuff, they also build it up so much. Like that guy, I'm trying to remember his name. The guy on the one that started that show. He, the first one with the white hair, he is Jeremy Wade. Thank you. He's like crazy. In the pilot for that show, they actually had a plane that crashed. And yeah, the tiger muskie is beautiful. Even though it could chomp something fierce on your arm or hand. And also can just shred your other fish like none other. I almost did a list of scary fish from how fish hunt and stuff to a list of scary fish for humans. Like because of the difference there. I mean, it's so vast, but some fish like a piranha I would definitely see as scary as a fish. As a human, I see a piranha actually as less threatening than most of the carnivorous fish in the area there. All right, so next up, yes, that's what I was gonna say. Thank you, Dan. I was gonna say River Monsters really does hype up their fish, and like it's an hour to catch a fish and look at it, and they're like, "Will we find it? Will we die?" Up next, and then it's like whatever. Although the episode with this fish, Jeremy Wade's crew does get hit by lightning, which is pretty epic. And this fish lives in the Orinoco River, which has some of my favorite little fishies. Now, this fish doesn't get like immensely large, but it is known as the wolf fish, and it is a crazy fish. So I'm not gonna say this right as per normal, but Trahira H. dot Malabara Scariest. Sorry, guys. That was awful. Trahira H. Malabaricurus is the name, a Latin name of this fish. But they really think that these fish are scary locally. In South America, where they live in the Orinoco, and they are pretty gnarly fish in that they will jump out of the water up to 8 feet, and they will eat birds and monkeys and stuff off of things. Like they'll drag like a monkey off of a tree easily, or a squirrel, little things like that. Iguanas. And they also will go toe to toe with caiman, which is pretty hardcore. It's not a doveye. No, I almost included the green terrors and doveys, red terrors, Oscars, that kind of stuff. But this is it's known as the wolffish, not the saltwater one, but freshwater wolffish from Venezuela. And it is it's spelled in Latin Trahira, and then M. This is the lowercase part of the name of the species. Malabaricus. And this is, yeah, just known as the wolf fish, I guess. There are about 30 names locally for it when I tried to find like the actual name, but there's so many tribes living in Uruguay and Guyana as well as Venezuela that it's just hard to find the name. This one is, sorry guys, I don't know why that rotated odd, but you can see that that is a good sized fish, even though it's a kid holding it, and its teeth are like shark teeth. Oops, I'm showing you guys more stuff. And it's really strong scaled. So this fish nearly sent Jeremy Wade over the edge trying to find it, by the way. But the villagers in the area are very, very afraid. You know, when the locals are scared of a fish, I mean, there could be a superstition or something, but when a bunch of different tribes and local groups say that a fish is like ferocious, stay away from it kind of thing, don't eat it, uh, there's usually some interesting merit that maybe we haven't even documented yet, it seems like. So let's move on. But the wolffish, they can get to like 60 pounds. They usually don't. They're usually about this size. And they can get up to like 5-ish feet long, with their tail being pretty long, even though it's a beefy tail. Next, we're going to be talking about, and I lumped this because there's too many species, but we're going to be talking about stingrays, and we're going to talk specifically about the ones in the Oscillate River. Ocelate, I don't know how to say it exactly. Is it Oscillate or Ocelate? I don't want to go there, but there's a new government rising in Brazil. I'm scared you should too. They voted for a very right, like Hitler type right wing person, huh? Well, I haven't looked into it, but I know Brazil has been plagued by gangs running the country and that corruption is insane there. If you haven't yet, watch the movie Mandabala. Mandabala. Two separate words. Mandabala. It is a friggin' awesome documentary about Brazil and the kidnapping industry. About how many people are kidnapped every year in Brazil and how corrupt the government is. There's another follow-up documentary about how out in the open, I mean, they're like, here's $1 million for this. The reason they stopped the dam projects was not, and that certain fish are now not gonna go extinct, was not because of activists from the local natives, which is what the news ran it as, but rather because the company running it went under because they'd been borrowing like from the mafia money, and they didn't have money to finish the dam. So that's why we get to keep certain species on this earth, is because of corruption and ineptness. As sad as it is that the Amerindians and the the indigenous group managed to bring 40,000 people together to try to stop the building of one of the Xingu dams in the Amazon, and they have now switched policies, that no longer will they be expanding their dams around the region. They claim they're going to stick to solar and tidal and other types of energy. But Brazil, for all of us, yes, stingrays are another fish that are impacted by this. We have things like CITES that also stop stingrays from coming into the U.S. There are Asian stingrays as well, but I wanted to stick mostly with the South American ones, which tend to be more poisonous. Venomous is actually correct. Poisonous means if you eat it, it hurts you, and you get sick. Venomous means if it stabs you or injects its venom into you, you get sick and die or hurt. And there are some deadly stingrays, but most of the time it's more about infection, or if it gets you through the heart, like Steve Irwin. That was a bizarre situation, and that was a saltwater stingray. But there are some huge stingrays in Cambodia, like the Mekong giant stingray. But I'm talking more about specifically the Matoro and the diamond, the Leopoldi, the what is it? I'm trying to remember. What is it? Potameo trigonidae, I think is what it is. And that is one of the pretty ones, but it's also one of the it could potentially kill like a kid. And there's someone holding back the barb, and that's what would swing around and nail you. But isn't that a beautiful fish? Hey, somebody's got your name. And then, oops. Okay, so that's weird. Did I? Oh, so also I was gonna say for thousands of years, they've also worshipped these fish, stingrays, and they walk with the shuffle many times. But they use that, they take that serrated barb and they make it into jewelry as well as weapons. Hawaiians also did this with saltwater stingrays, and so did a bunch of other people. They would hammer it into their clubs, the Aztecs, and they would use that as a slashing, hacking weapon. And they would also be able to cut down trees with stingray barbs mounted into hardwoods. Also, we have a $10 super chat from Bob Kaler's Fish Hobby. Check out Bob's channel, everybody. He just uploaded some cool stuff. Bob, thank you for holding it down as a moderator as well. Thank everyone for being here and for hitting that like button. I always forget when I'm in streams, but don't forget to hit that like button. Check out, old videos and stuff, but tonight I just kind of wanted to chat a little bit longer than a short video. Gary's Aquatics, you headed out? All right, you have a good night. Yeah, Andre, talking about the far right leader in Brazil. I will not get into it on this channel, but it's very similar to the leader in the Philippines. What's his name? Medeiros, and he's just a pig, killing anybody who's a drug dealer, quote unquote, and they're just using it to kill anybody they want. They've killed like 13,000 people now without the law. He just basically told people you could get a gun and shoot any drug dealer you wanted, and the proof needed was screw it, none. basically. And so in Venezuela, you have a far left-leaning government that's, communist or socialist, essentially. Same with other socialist, attempting to be socialist, but mismanaged or poor countries in the region. And then you have the right. And traditionally, Russia versus the US have controlled a lot of that. We'll go into some of that in other videos because there's reasons why we won't be trading with certain countries, or we don't get things from certain countries and we do from others. Like Venezuela, we don't trade with them for the most part freely and openly and easily because of the way our governments are. Now, with our president, who now says he is a nationalist, probably won't be getting along with Venezuela any better, but maybe better with Brazil. Maybe we'll be able to import more fish again. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out later. But let's not go into politics right this second. But I hear ya. I feel ya, you guys. Vexcan Cat, hey, how's it going? It's been a while. Hey, Fancy Tail, you hold on. Amazonia is not Brazilian, is the world's last green. Wait, what? Sorry. I guess I don't quite get what's being said in the chat, but we'll move on. And we can talk about it later too, especially on the Facebook or in the comments, because I love politics, but I just don't want to anger people too much. And let's keep this moving. So number 8 is the Payara or Payara, and that is the vampire fish or the vampire tetra, which is not. I mean, there's a little teeny tetra that's also called that, so that's confusing. I don't want to use that name, but basically, the Payara is a fish that tries to jut out. Its jaw can kind of come out more so, its lower jaw, and scoop in with those teeth. I don't know how it sleeps at night with a relaxed mouth. Poor thing. You can see it's got a distinct lateral line, so it probably has an intense, it feels what's going on around it. You can see the water is very tannic and dark. Yeah, its teeth are pretty gnarly, so known as the vampire fish, which I thought was fitting for the Halloween season. Here's another one here. I think this one was out of Peru, but you can see a little beefier, less of the teeth, and he put that one back. He's got a GoPro and a channel and stuff, but it's not in English. There is the little Tetra version, if you were curious. Sorry, it's not really showing up very well. Sorry, guys. And there is another insanely scary one that he caught, or that a guy caught somewhere in South America. I don't know where. I couldn't find info on it. But yeah, it's a gnarly looking fish. It can chomp down pretty hard, and it actually gulps a lot. Yeah, there's the bucktooth tetra also. There's so many trade names that it's hard to even go into it. The saber-tooth tetra, the blah blah blah. But this guy's bigger. He's a different class. And then also we're going to that was out of place. This is a baby one of the big guys. Sorry, that was supposed to come first. They're pretty fish. They're in the aquarium hobby, but I recommend you not keep them. All right, moving on to number 9. I want to finish this up because I know Lucas just came on, so I'm sure people want to see Lucas. So we've got the electric catfish that live in the Nile. They can't see super well because the Nile's cloudy and silty. There are 32 species of this fish, and some of them are kind of pretty. And, ooh, come on. Come on. Yeah, that's just not going to work. Sorry, guys. I need better technology, and intelligence here. But it's a pretty fish. Some of them are. And what they use this for is they eat detritus and stuff that normal catfish eat. But what they do is they wait until like everything's still in the water, and they have this sensory organ. You can notice they have a lateral line here. They actually have like 6 more sensory organs down here, plus those barbels, which are full of sensory organs. This one looks like a fat seal. And let's see, I think I can turn, yeah. Or actually, let's turn this down. This should help. Looks like a fat seal. um, but they gulp. They're gulpers, but they can shock 400 watts. So to kill a human, technically you could do it with AC current. I think with 50, they said online, but that would be very rare, and that would be like if it hit your heart perfectly and you fell in the water or whatever. So really most people are going to take around 1,000, so this wouldn't kill you. But these were electric catfish, are available in the hobby. There are species that don't zap you too hard, and a lot of them actually, the electric catfish, were used medicinally, and they're in texts and in hieroglyphs as long as 5,000 years ago, like pre-pyramids, and they were used, they would actually get them to bite people, or they'd put people's feet in water, and then they'd agitate the fish. They'd poke them with like skewers, not killing them or anything, but then they would shock the water, and it was the first electric shock treatment, and it causes your muscles to convulse. But with the small ones, it happens localized, and if you wet somebody and put the fish on them, they saw it as a way to treat tired muscles, seizures, and believe it or not, mental illness. They would put you in a tank, like a bin, and they would throw a bunch of the strong ones in and let them shock the heck out of you, which is kind of interesting to me because we've used electroshock therapy in the Western world frequently. And some people say that is barbaric, but its name in Egyptian is the angry fish or thunderfish. All right, last one on the list officially is the bull shark. No, this is a saltwater fish most of the time, but they have spent up to 2 years in fresh water when tagged. They've been found 2,500 miles up river. That's in the Amazon, in the Mississippi River. They're found in Illinois, all the way up to like water diversion and treatment canals and things. And they have killed more people inland than the rest of the sharks in the world put together, other than tigers and great whites and makos, I believe was the stat. So pretty crazy. Yep, thanks Bob for saying that. If you're enjoying the channel, if you like my other stuff, you're having fun tonight and whatnot, I do have a Patreon page. You can check that out. We also have a Facebook group, and there's always super chats. Aquarium Cop, hey, how's it going, man? I used to have an electric catfish in the 80s. It was a great fish. Then I had to move to a tank that had a snakehead and some Oscars in it. It zapped my snakehead dead. Well, no offense, but snakeheads almost made this list. They're a pretty gnarly fish, and snakeheads, they're a problem in the U.S., and they can walk across land sometimes and like skittle across puddles, and it's just not a good situation. They're very violent. They bite very hard, and apparently, I guess they taste good. So, the bull shark. This is one that was caught in Lake Nicaragua, which is like 2,000 miles inland or something, or 1,700 miles. And bull sharks are found in all rivers around the world that are big, big mouth rivers. A lot of times they'll have their young in the rivers, less predators. Nothing's gonna bug this shark. These aren't like the biggest sharks, but they get pretty darn big. They can reach something like 400 or 500 kilos, 1,200 pounds ish, 13 or 14 feet long. I mean, they're just big. This is a 5-footer, and that could kill a person if it wanted to. This is also how Jaws was. Um, this is also how Jaws was, or what it was based on, was bull shark attacks in New Jersey on the shore in 1916. Attacked and killed, I think, 5 people and injured others. And bull sharks, they're just nasty, mean, rugged, can survive anything kind of sharks. They're super aggressive for no reason. And yeah, they can go into fresh water for easily 12 months, all of them, but some go up to 2 years. And they'll jump up like a salmon to get over things in the way. I mean, they're just a gnarly. Like this list wasn't in order, but by far the bull shark is the scariest fish that you'll encounter in a lake or a river. And it's just crazy to me that these things do that. Or maybe it's crazy that more violent ocean-going fish don't come inland, you know? Seems like easy pickings. But it's pretty insane. Like the Amazon, you actually have fresh water out to sea 200 miles. You can drink it. I don't know why this is out of order. There's another vampire fish. That was the jaw picture that I was trying to find. Let's see if there's anything else that I somehow mislabeled and it came to the end of the slideshow. No, that's it. All right, so that is the slippity slidey show. Let's take a look here at the talks, and I'll give you the rundown one more time. Reading some stuff real quick. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. All right, you guys. So here was my list. Man, the zoom on this thing is killing me. Top 10 scariest fish. Electric eel, Candiru, flying carp or silver carp, tigerfish, which is the Goliath African tiger, alligator garr, and muskies, which are pike. The wolffish, there's its Latin name. Stingrays, and that is an array of stingrays because I couldn't find out, like, no one has per whatever how strong the venom is like they do for rattlesnakes that I could find. The Payara or vampire tetra, vampire fish. Calling it the vampire tetra is confusing because there's like a bucktooth just ignore that. And then electric catfish and the bull shark. So those were my picks for like a diverse crowd of scary fish with interesting attack techniques. I think it's crazy the electric catfish, since they're not fast or anything, they don't have real crazy teeth. What they do is they'll go somewhere where there's fish hiding in the bushes or like the reeds of muddy water, and they can't see anything unless it moves because they sense with like a almost like echolocation with their barbels as like sonar through electrical fields. And so what they do is they put out a teeny zap. They can control the strength of it, and that causes the fish's muscles to twitch. And so then they do that every like 20 seconds, and it maps out like if a bunch of fish are hiding under a ledge, and then they just open their mouth and then they do a really hard zap and swim towards them at the same time, which is pretty cool. And also on the electric eel, there is a lab research from Brazil. In Brazil, and they had the electric eel, and they found that it mapped using its electricity too. Like when it charged off its electricity, that then it could find its way through mazes and stuff much, much quicker. So there's like a visual sight component. The interesting thing about this list, though, like the electric eel and the electric catfish, they are living on opposite sides of the world. Africa, and the electric eel is in South America. Known to kill horses and their rider. That has been documented 4 different times now. 4 different people on 2 different occasions. So, all right, guys, if you guys want to go check out Lucas Brett's stream, that is more than fine by me. Tell him I said hi. Tell him you're coming from my stream. We have some new logos that I don't know when he'll be launching them, but I got him the art. Yeah, where I live, carp jump out like crazy. You've almost been hit a few times. Domino, that's why they're on the list. I've been there too, and I've seen the crazy carps. I believe I read a year or so ago that a bull shark had procreated in a river. Yeah, I found reports of that too, Bob, and I don't know what that means, if it was impregnated before it entered the river, because I think they give live birth. But I did read that too, that 13 babies and their mother were found in the Mississippi River recently altogether. So that's kind of gnarly. But yeah, if you guys want to talk about anything else, if you guys have any other questions, I'm open to that now. Otherwise, we can all go look at Lucas and say hi to him. Thank you so much to my mod, Mr. Bob. Younger days, you worked at a... Techno All, how's it going, man? I got a friend in touch with an electric cat. Yeah, the electric catfish, there are some weaker ones that are legal in the U.S., some aren't. Depends on the state. I don't know. But I was going to tell you guys, too, that this tank, doing well, looking good. We have a big auction coming up in our club. And so basically we wanted to get the Lucas, the shrimp, Jess buddy, of course. I want to try and make it to the auction. Yeah, dude, come to the auction if you can in Washington. It's going to be in White Center at the Eagles Club. And it's going to be next weekend from, I think, 10 to 4, I want to say. I should know, I'm on the board. Oops. But yeah, so this tank, I wanted to show people from the algae video how much better the algae is just by tweaking the situations that I tweaked. So I did not add any sort of whatever cure or anything. The one spot we still have it is right here, and it's not bad. I could pull that off by hand, but I left it because the shrimp and stuff seem to be eating it really well, and I figured I'd let them finish it off. There are a few little spots of it around, like hanging off. You can see them. But that is where your algae control critters will come in and help you out. Also, bucephalandra growing. I am hoping that that is not just a leaf, but a flower possibly. It looks pretty tight together like a bud. Also, I got some Pogostemon stellatus hellfry that is Downoi. I don't know how to pronounce that, honestly. But it is the type that turns red. And that's if you have low iron. This tank has pretty good iron, so it's not going to turn red yet. But these go for like, I don't know, anywhere. I've seen them for as cheap as $10, but that's for like these little teeny ones. This one's this like only an inch across. But it is going, like, I've seen them been going for $50. I traded some blue shrimp for them. So that's kind of cool. But I'd love to get some more of that plant, because it's just like a Pogostemon hellfry, except it can have a kind of like blood red with then a peach red color mixed on it. Also, the leopard frog pleco. You can see he's doubled in size since I got him. He's turning a lot more yellow. And I'm really happy about that. He seems just peachy keen in here. There's 2 in here, and you're seeing that algae whipping up from here. But just wanted to show you guys that from the algae follow-up, that's how much of a difference the tank can be. And it's been like this since 3 days after that video. Only have a thing, let's see, the only thing I have to say, Domino Diamond says, a few of my tanks right now are low on water and they are making that trickle sound. Yeah, sleep. Today, hold on, I gotta get rid of an app. Today, I got my, oh, you got Goldie-Eye Decay Rainbows from Lucas, holding them up, shipping concerns, glad to have them. Yeah. Bob, that's rad. Do you have the video up yet today? I haven't looked at your channel today, but yeah, that would be sweet. And I'm hoping you post that to your channel. Check out Bob's channel, by the way. Yeah, hair algae, it's a pain. Check out my video about how to get rid of it from just a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago or whatever it is, a week ago. This tank was covered, and to reduce the lighting, if you do that, you got to crank up the carbon that's available carbon. Yeah, watch it again. Sometimes tanks just get gnarly. There you go. You can see that leopard frog pleco again. I'm so excited for it to grow up. But yeah, so also the blue Moscow guppy looking great. The baby L144s I have, they're definitely going to have really long fins. And I'll probably have about 40 that grow up, it looks like, that are doing healthy and well. Another 20 seem to be immature. I talked to a friend who has bred them before, and he told me that one of the main issues with them is that they actually produce babies that don't have enough yolk to survive. And the mom will try to put out as many eggs as possible, and kind of like she makes a bunch of good quality yolk ones and then some that don't have that little yolk on them, and so they end up passing away frequently. Instead, they just fail to thrive. So over here, got some new plants planted in the low tech. Basically, I wanted to plant a variety of, and this tank looks so green, so I need to do something about the lighting. But I love the platies. Platies, my platies, they're half sword, half platy, and they have so many babies right now that yeah. Also, I have this white and pink hygrophilia, which is kind of cool. Instead of just the normal pink, it's like white. And it seems to be holding true. That's a cutting off of another one. This is how big those green dragons got. I still have a few of the babies, but I'm really waiting right now on the long fin green dragon babies to come out. Also, hey, the Aeneas catfish that I haven't seen in, no joke, 2 months or something is flailing about. Both of them are. Interesting. So that's good. But I was trying to show people in this tank that you can get a little bit of color, even though it's not showing up very well. It would if I looked straight down on it. Yeah, now you can see the reds and peaches and pinks. That you can get color in a tank that's low tech. I just wanted people to realize that. And that some of the expensive plants are still really cool, and then when you do have time, you can get different plants. Well, I'm going to let everybody go, and I hope everybody's doing really good. If you have any more questions, drop them in the... Do assassin snails kill baby shrimps? I haven't seen it happen, but I have this like weird feeling that they kind of do if there aren't... Like, they'll go after snails first and foremost. That's their thing. They're specialized in it. But yeah. Yeah. Andre, aren't you in like another country, like Portugal or something? Otherwise, get gills would be helpful, but yeah, so check out Bob's Fish Hobby. Check out his channel. You guys got some cool stuff up right now. And he's my main man, my mod, and my super chat of the night. So thank you so much. Take care, everybody. I hope you're doing well. And we will talk again soon. I want to do a talk in the middle of the night here, and just so people in, say, Lisbon can watch. You know. So also have video in this tank. There are some young cribs in here. The cribs gave oh, Helcio Perez. Hello, how's it going? Good to see you. I'm sorry you're catching the tail end of this. I do have film that I may post soon. Also, my Prince sword is flowering really poorly. Where did it go? Yeah. I do have another type of algae growing in this tank now, and it's like a really rough, blackish, I don't know. It's like Brillo pad algae. I haven't done anything about it, so I'm not like worried yet, but I'm gonna figure that out. But the pufferfishes had babies, and the pufferfish babies are following around the adult cribs, and the adult cribs are protecting them. And I made a little video on it. So that's just flippin' adorable. I hope they make it to a full age. Also, my cherry barb is out, who never comes out. He was the first fish in this tank as it was cycling, and I couldn't catch... He had 10 friends, and I couldn't catch him, but he's like the most beautiful red cherry barb that I've ever owned. And he just hangs out in there and hides in the corner all day. All right, you guys, I'm going to show the downstairs tank on the next live chat. Might be a more interactive one, because both Ben and my friend David want to hop on the channel, say hi. My friend Ben just got my 20 tall, and basically I'm setting him up with that. He's got 5 baby plecos in there because he loves plecos, and I said I'd take the adults when they get big. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here, you guys. It's been a little over an hour. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you so much for watching. I really drug out that list. I could have done it in a 5-minute video if I just edited it and been like most list shows. But I just wanted to yak and yak and yak for a long time. Andre, let's talk. I want to talk politics and hear your opinions on things going on in South America, because I'd like to be more informed, especially if I can tie it into, you know, so-and-so stopped tariffs on this, or they're overfishing this, or there's no permits or oversight for harvesting of whatever. So, yeah. All right, you guys. Have a wonderful night, day-night, and I will talk to you guys later. I hope those fish weren't too scary. And I'd like to see your list. If you made it this far, please like, subscribe, think about visiting my Patreon, or think about a super chat next time. Thanks again to our moderator, Bob, who's awesome. Check out his page, and I will talk to you all later.